Hey guys, today we're going to learn about angles. So our objective is to classify, which means name, and measure angles. And this is page 55. All right, so first of all, here are some examples of some angles. We've got acute angle, and that is an angle that is less than 90 degrees, so between 0 and 90. And then we've got a right angle that is exactly 90, not 89, not 91, but only exactly 90 degrees. And it looks like this. And oftentimes you'll see a little marker right here that shows you that it's a 90-degree angle. Obtuse angle is the next one, and that's anything between 90 and 180 degrees. So 91 or 179, those would be classified as obtuse. All right, next one is a straight angle, which is also just make a straight line, and that's exactly 180 degrees. So you can see here, this is exactly only one number, 90, and this is exactly 180. And then we have reflex angles, which we won't really touch much on this year, but a reflex angle just means it's bent backwards. So right here, this is the angle I'm talking about as acute. This right here is right. This right here is obtuse, straight, and then reflex, see it's gone past 180 degrees, and it's between 180 and 360 because 360 would be a complete circle. Okay, so then just some vocabulary. We have a line, and a line extends forever in both directions. And that's why you have arrows at the end of the line. Okay, and this is an example of how one might be written. Okay, and then we have a line segment, which is similar to a line, but it has final ending points. Okay, this one goes on forever, this one doesn't. So it says consists of 2 points of a line and all the points in between. So here's a point, it's everything in between, but it doesn't extend past in the other directions. Okay, and then the next one, a line that extends from a point. Okay, so basically it's sort of like half of a line. So I start at this endpoint, and then I go on forever just in one direction. And then the last one, vertex, the corner or point where two sides meet. Okay, so here's an example of a vertex on a shape like a square. The vertex is like the corner. A vertex on an angle would be right here where it's forming from two rays connecting. So these are both examples of a vertex or vertices. All right, and then right here I have a protractor. So this we can use to actually measure angles, and it tells you the steps right here. So we have how to use a protractor. Number one, place the center point, which means this right here, of the protractor on the vertex of the angle, meaning sort of like on the corner, okay? So here's my angle right here, and this right here would be the vertex. So I place the center of my protractor right there on the vertex. Then it says line up the 0 on the bottom line of the protractor with the bottom ray of the angle. So here's the bottom ray or side of this angle. So I lined this up with a 0. Now I could line it up with this 0, which is on the inside, or I could have twisted the protractor and lined up 0 with this side too, which is on the outside. It's important to make sure you notice whichever side you line it up with, because if you line it up with here, you got to look at the inside numbers. If you line it up on the other side, you look at the outside numbers. Okay, so then it says look at the number the second ray passes through. Now, let's say I wasn't sure if I look in the inside or the outside numbers. Well, here is where I lined it up with 0, and so this is really the line that I need to read. Well, I've got two numbers here. I've got 65, and then I've got between 110 and 120, which would be 115. Well, between 115 and 65, which one makes sense based on how this angle looks? Well, I know that 90 would be like this, and it's past that, so that tells me it's obtuse, and obtuse says it has to be more than 90 and less than 180. So that means 65 would not be possible. So that means I should be looking at the inside numbers, which is 115, and that makes sense because this side is lined up with 0, which is on the inside, and so I should be reading the inside numbers. So I could label this as 115 degrees. All right, so just make sure you've got down the difference between these angles as well as the degree requirements for each. Make sure you know these vocabulary terms and how to measure using a protractor or just looking at a protractor that's laid on top of an angle. being able to measure it or identify it from the picture. All right, thanks for watching.